Leafs breaking news. For this nobody expected, our journalists got this valuable information. The speculation is strong and the president of the club wants to invest in this new player. But before talking about the news, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel to be able to pass the number of subscribers of Canadians. Together with you we will overcome them soon and thus be the biggest news channel. The Toronto Maple Leafs find themselves in a rather peculiar and vexatious situation, one that has persisted for a considerable period. The Toronto Maple Leafs once had an exceptional young general manager. However, because immediate success eluded them, and because he succeeded a revered Hall of Fame legend, and primarily, I contend, because he displayed an assertively intellectual and innovative approach, a portion of the fan base and media refused to embrace him. This reaction should not have come as a surprise, given that hockey has traditionally been vehemently resistant to any form of innovation or novel thinking. We momentarily interrupt the news to share a crucial announcement. We want to emphasize that if you want to continue receiving the latest updates through YouTube recommendations, it is of utmost importance that you leave your like on this video. Thank you in advance. We will now return to the ongoing news. Now, what's up, fans? What's your take on this news? Are you in agreement with it, or do you have an opposite view? Don't hesitate to share your opinion in the comments below. This contributes significantly to our beloved team being aware of your points of view. Stay tuned, as I will return with more news at any moment. Presently, the Leafs are amid the most prosperous stretch in their century-long existence. They have established numerous team records and remained a top-tier team for the past 4 seasons, only to endure remarkably improbable and unfortunate playoff setbacks. Critics of Kyle Dubas, the former general manager, appear petty and absurd in light of these achievements. It is evident that they harbored a dislike for him, possibly for reasons best left unexplored, and always would have, regardless of the circumstances. There was a series they lost where John Tavares didn't participate, Austin Matthews struggled to find the net, and they became the only team in history to force overtime in consecutive games after overcoming multi-goal deficits, only to still lose. The fact that they received no recognition for this series demonstrates that their critics were impervious to reason. Regarding the Toronto Maple Leafs GM wars, the conflict between Brad Treliving and Kyle Dubas, one might even welcome Dubas' dismissal just to put an end to this nonsensical discourse. Truth be told, my disappointment over his firing doesn't stem from a particular fondness for Dubas. It arises from my aversion to the idea that a team that once advocated a vision based on process over results was compelled to abandon their convictions and succumb to the reality that professional sports is a results-driven industry. Nevertheless, any criticism of the new GM falls under the same umbrella, which is regrettable, or is it? I might inadvertently be constructing a strawman from a small but vocal minority. Under the new management, the Leafs have not deviated from their fundamental philosophy. However, individuals who held a disdain for Dubas will barrage you with absurd accusations of bias and hatred if you dare to question any of their decisions. Again, this is my perception. Refer to the parenthetical remarks in the previous paragraph. I did not agree with every move Dubas made, and I will not condemn every move Treliving makes. Nevertheless, there is ample evidence, accessible to anyone with internet access and 5 minutes to spare, suggesting that compensating players like John Klingberg, Max Domi, David Kampf, and Ryan Reeves at levels comparable to Mitch Marner is an imprudent financial strategy for a team already grappling with salary cap constraints. That said, the new general manager faces the intricate task of leaving his mark on the team without substantially disrupting what already works. All of these moves are comprehensible and, overall, relatively low risk. There is a likelihood that Brad Treliving will ultimately prove to be an outstanding general manager for the Toronto Maple Leafs. However, am I biased against him? I exclusively write editorials, so impartiality is not a component of my job description. Nevertheless, I like to believe that I am distinct from those individuals whose manifestly biased viewpoints exasperate me. I genuinely admired the previous general manager, but I still criticize the decisions I disagreed with. I do not believe I am, but then again, the people who denounce Dubas because he is 34 and wears glasses probably do not consider themselves petty or frivolous either. I am biased in my preference for the former general manager. However, I am not so biased as to root against my beloved team or to withhold credit when it is due, such as for signing Matthews, Bertuzzi, or handling the Matt Murray situation. Ultimately, we all share the desire to see the Toronto Maple Leafs succeed, with the exception of those who seek attention and cheer against their favorite team due to their disapproval of the general manager. The team is in a favorable position, boasting several superstars in their prime and a strong chance of clinching a championship, and that is immensely enjoyable. I, for one, wish that the GM wars did not mirror political discourse, but unless we ignore anyone with differing views, a course of action fraught with its own dire consequences, it seems unlikely to cease anytime soon. In fact, sports enthusiasts are among the few who continue to engage in constructive discourse across ideological divides, at least in the realm of public discourse. This team has not secured victory in over 125 years or so. We have envisioned countless victory parades, only to witness them take place in other cities with different fan bases. It is improbable that we will ever unanimously agree on everything, and ultimately, I believe that is acceptable. I appreciate Kyle Dubas, and I also hold regard for Brad Treliving. I am fond of pretty much anyone who shares my affection for the Leafs. All I request is that we accord the team the recognition it deserves for an exceptional 4-year run, even if the outcomes did not align with our aspirations. In the end, I believe that harboring extreme adoration or extreme aversion toward anyone at the helm of an organization is misguided. Running a hockey team is a collective endeavor, not the responsibility of a solitary individual. The Leafs may have changed general managers, but they have adhered to the same modus operandi they have employed for years, albeit with a rotation of about 10 inconsequential players, and they retain the same president and contract negotiator they have always had.